Good morning. So, a little after 12 on Saturday morning. Oh, what am I doing up so early? Well, in about 2 hours, I'll be picking up my brother. So we can drive about 4.5 hours to make our attempt at the Devil's Path trail in the Catskills. We want to be on trail early, so we have to start early, and nothing really happens around here until get a little iced coffee in me, and I'll be better when I'm awake. Well, we're well caffeinated now, and I'm on my way to pick up the little bro. So I guess the adventure begins now. So right now we're following Smiley's taxi. Picked us up at the gas station, and they're going to take us to the west terminus, the end of the trail. We'll drop the car off there, then they'll take us around to the east terminus, drop us off, and then we're on our own from there. Smiley's taxi's been pretty professional. It's not a cheap ride, but certainly is cheaper than trying to bring two vehicles.
Or make this out and back.
Yeah, hiking the whole thing and then hiking it back definitely would add to the challenge aspect of it.
Why don't you tell us one more time about
Planning?
Planning, yeah.
So the idea was about 6 months ago to tackle this. And then, I don't want to say I didn't look at it at all, but I kind of put it on the back burner for a while. And then of course I talked to you, and when you were in, I was like, well, now I got to buckle down and really look. So about 1.5 to 2 months of planning, going to REI, bought some books, got a map, YouTube the hell out of it. Shout out to Syntax 77, who basically mapped our trail out for us. We're going to be following in his footsteps, him and Kyle and Flossie. So if you end up watching this for some god-awful reason, go to their YouTube pages, because they did a good job of it.
I assume you've been watching the weather reports. How often do they fluctuate?
Yeah. So obviously, if anybody ever watches this video and they decide to track the weather, now I'm a big proponent of not looking at the weather more than a day or two out. I tell people all the time, you're wasting your time looking at the weather a day or two out. Well, I became a damn weather expert and watched the weather every damn day waiting for this trip, and we had everything from beautiful blue skies to thunderstorms, and at one point we were considering if it was even a good idea to come out here, and then the next day it's blue skies again. So yeah, good luck if you're weather watching for this trip, because it literally changed every damn day. We're forecasted to maybe get a little bit of rain tomorrow. I haven't looked at it recently. It could be snow tomorrow, it could be blue skies tomorrow, but it looks like we're going to get some decent weather, at least on the first day. smooth. So I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this on camera, but pretty much straight up right now. So all those nice big views from before weren't even the top of the mountain. We're gonna go ahead and my brother's gonna show me how this is done, this near vertical climb.
I'm happy there's no rain.
Or this will just be proof for the insurance company.
He did not kill me.
But I'm gonna hang down here
All about that base weight.
and hang down here, make sure he gets to the top safely before I go, because that's just smart climbing. He's a big boy. I'll try to stop him. In case you were curious if someone did go down that, I mean, really, that's what they have to look forward to. So he's telling me it's pretty simple. So we're at the spring, just off Devil's Path, and couldn't have gone any sooner. Pretty dry trail, as we knew, but it was even drier than we expected. So we are taking a load off. Decided not to cook, but we're grabbing some lunch just the same. I think we decided we're still going to try and press on to the Devil's Acre camping area, which what did it say? 4 miles? 4.4 miles, which out here equals about 182 miles straight uphill. Straight uphill. We almost got hit by a couple of airplanes, and at one point I heard God's cell phone ringing.
Well, the last 1,000 feet or so are straight down.
Yeah, the straight downs are horrible. I mean, it's not like I've seen little kids out here doing it, because they couldn't. Not a chance. Don't bring your kids or your dogs out here. They'd never make it. Yeah, so far it's been tough. The water situation was underestimated, which is stupid because we were warned. And the downhills get me. The downhills are tough on the knees and the ankles, but getting some good rest now, getting rehydrated, and I think we're going to find the energy to push forward. All right, I don't know how much more I'm going to film. I don't think I'm going to film too much more of the trail because it's slowing us down, and to be perfectly honest, it's just me bitching non-stop, and that's not a good look. Yeah, so hopefully I turn this back on and we're in camp and maybe the tents are set up. Or I did throw around the idea of bailing out and finding a honeymoon suite with a jacuzzi tub. Sounds pretty awesome right about now. All right, we'll see ya. All right, so I feel like I've complained a little bit, so I thought I'd turn this camera on and just say how happy I am that we now get to traverse this. I highly doubt this camera shows the angle, but I've climbed ladders to third-story roofs that weren't pitched this steep, so yeah, I'm happy. I didn't feel like I've been too negative. I'm very, very, very happy to be climbing this. And it looks a little slick, so that's cool. Kind of down with that. All right, see, positivity. That's how we're gonna get through this. So I really got nothing to say at this point. If you can see what we're looking at, looks like fun. You all right? Yeah. Losing your legs?
Huh?
Losing your legs or just getting in a weird spot? That's kind of an odd angle through there. What's that? I didn't hear it. Yep. It's brutal. So we're on top of probably the worst thing I've ever done. This is Plateau Mountain. So we hiked up this monster. It's over 3,800 feet of straight vert. And you don't really even get a view from up here. We got to look at this mountain driving in. It looked pretty cool then. Now that we're up here on it, really ain't all that cool, to be honest with you. It's just a lot of dirt and sticks and twigs and rocks and my brother's been quoting stuff from the 80s this whole entire trip, so that's been fun. He was barely alive in the 80s, but apparently he watched every movie ever made. I would love to tell you that this was one of those personal challenges that you really have to do to find yourself. And it's going to really make you reflect. And spending it with my brother, it's going to help us bond years of not really being close with each other. But to be honest with you, I'd push him off a cliff right now for a helicopter ride out of here. So there's that. How you doing, bro?
I don't hear a chopper.
Always be prepared, little man. Always got to have a plan B. But we made it up that mountain, man. I'm starting to wonder if that was going to happen.
Yeah, anyway.
That was brutal. I mean, I know people that know me know I like to joke and exaggerate, but there's no joking about that thing. That was just a nightmare. The reason why I'm filming this is because it's the first time I've been able to breathe in an hour or more. And I'm not breathing well, but breathing well enough to jibber jabber. Is he still back there? Getting nervous when he gets quiet. We are in Sasquatch country, which probably the only real Sasquatches out here are us. At this point, we're kind of racing against the time. We're definitely not going to make it to the campsite we wanted to originally. This is what it is. We're hoping now. I think it's Devil's Tombstone, or it's a lake at the bottom of this eventually. Hopefully there's a place for us there, or once we get below 3,500 feet, as long as there's no camping signs, it's legal. So it's kind of the mission now: get off this hill or get below 3,500 feet, start looking for a place to set up camp before we're stuck in the dark. We are technically prepared for dark, but not really. Don't really want to deal with that. All right. I guess that's all I got for now. So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and say how terrible this is. Yeah, it's just straight up. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,800 feet to I don't know, forever. But you know, we're two very experienced, very competent, well-known superheroes of the hiking world. So obviously we're gonna crush this.
Probably finish today.
Yeah, so yeah, uphill. Let's do it.
Smart water bottle. I wasn't going to use this thing, but now I'm feeling like...
What is that plastic piece there?
This is a base for the can.
Oh,
So I'm going to employ that on the next trip. I'm just trying to...
so we'll do a quick review of breakfast. Got this Pro Pack breakfast skillet, shredded potatoes, scrambled eggs mixed with pork sausage, peppers, and onions. So it would probably be better if I didn't put too much water in it, but it's not too bad. I don't really see a whole lot of oddball ingredients, so it's relatively healthy. Mr. Fox.
Mountain House Adventure Meals, Biscuits and Gravy. I saw a review of this by Dixie on the Trail, or Homemade Wanderlust, whatever you want to call her, and she gave it high marks. So when I decided I was going to get some breakfast, I picked up this, and she was spot on. This is delicious.
The real star of the show is the coffee. I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate instant coffee. This is kind of horrible. And it's not like generic brand coffee, it's a brand name coffee. I just think I need to explore other options. But it's still the star of the show because it's hot and it's coffee. And it's like, what time is it, homie?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no idea what time it is. But it's time for coffee and breakfast. So
Camp was packed up by about 5:30. So.
yeah, we were out of bed by, well, the alarm went off at 4:30 a.m. We were packed up by 5:30, so it's probably about 6:30, 7 now, somewhere in there. So here we are on the western half of Devil's Trail, just getting started. And so I didn't film any of the camp, mostly because by the time we made camp we were fucking shot, and really just wanted to get to bed. It was just before dark we made camp, and then it was straight to bed. We didn't even eat dinner, and I can't guarantee where we camped was exactly legal either, so figured the less I film of that, the better. I think we were legal. My brother thinks we were legal. I guess that's good enough for me. So two mistakes were made. One, we weren't as fast as we had hoped, so we did not get to the campground we originally planned on getting to. And the other mistake is the campground that's just down the way from here, it's a very short hike, is closed till next weekend. That was a big miss on my part. Live and learn, but we may do. Actually, it's kind of fun scrambling for a place last second.
No mercy today. It just starts by going up. And if Plateau Mountain was any indication, of how today's gonna go, it'll end by going up and then somehow continue to go up after that.
Was this thing up when you got here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So it does. Well, I hope that's not an indication of how things are going to go. All right, there it is. Here we go. And it's really it's straight up rock. Just really is straight up. I know this video won't show it, but just straight up. So we're getting our morning exercise in for sure. I know my brother's usually in the gym by now, so he's used to this. .1 miles to the lean-to. That's where we were trying to get to. 2 miles to Buttermilk Falls. And I think that's the falls we're going to go by. So we're at the spring just past Devil's Acre Campground, which was originally our goal, was to get just past the campground and camp, and we didn't quite make it. It actually looks pretty abandoned, so if we had trudged through into the night, it looks like we would have had the campground all to ourselves. And then just past it, obviously, here's our spring that we're reloading with some nice fresh mountain water. It is ice cold and pretty refreshing. It is about as beautiful as it gets right here, right now. Wide open skies. It is green. It is just a nice day to be out here. Almost makes me forget the horrible nightmare of just some of that climbing yesterday. We're not through today yet, but I know we got one more kind of a hill to climb, and then a whole lot of downhill. But today's going to be definitely way more manageable than yesterday. So I think we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 11, 12 miles to hike to get out of here, but it's not going to be anything like yesterday. So I know we've got one more that's supposed to be a really good scenic view. Some have said it's the best one on the trail, so hopefully it is. Get a shot of that here in a little bit. So this is Geiger Point. I don't know if we're quite a mile past the spring. This isn't the big lookout I was talking about earlier, but it's not a terrible view.
Uncle Bob's in bad health, but I have no intention of going down and visiting anytime soon. It sucks because she is really nice to the girls. She was nice to us. On 4 miles, 10 more to go.
Here's our trail. Spruceton Road, 6.99. That is some accurate trail marking. This particular climb wasn't really the worst of them all, but it may have been the most miles to get up. It kind of wrapped around the mountain a little bit. It's about 2 miles to get up it. And I'll tell you, we didn't stop once, man. We cruised up that thing in record time, passing people left and right. It was impressive. You'll have to take my word for it, because I did not get any of that on film, but it certainly happened. Okay, there is more uphill, so we are still not at the top, which actually makes sense because we just passed a sign that said 3,500 feet, and the mountain is at least 3,600 feet. So there's another 100 feet at least of elevation, which, you know, after 3,500 feet, is another 100 really that big of a deal?
I'll tell you when we get there.
Yeah, exactly. So a big difference between day 1 and day 2 is I can actually record our climb here and talk a little bit. Day 2 or day 1, it was just some brutal climbs that, I mean, I just couldn't safely carry a camera, and I couldn't breathe to talk anyway. So most of this footage is going to look fairly easy, but you can come out here and take a look at it yourself if it looks simple enough. So we're kind of in the last big ascent of this journey. It's a doozy. It's not as straight up as some of the other hikes, but it goes on. I don't know, it's like a 2-mile hike to the top. And you know, I was thinking, it's tough, but you know, we're going to do it at this point. And it's talking to my brother, and it's, before you know it, all the planning, all the thought put into this, pretty soon it's just going to be a memory. And you know, it got me thinking, you know, in the moment, it may feel like it never ends, but this is the moment that matters most, right here, right now. So I don't know how many people are going to want to come out and do this hike, but get out and do something. And if you're planning on doing something, make it happen. Find a way. Is it going to be someday or day 1? And yesterday was our day 1. And it's been tough at times, but no matter what, I wouldn't trade this day in for the world. I would maybe trade my brother in for an escalator right now, but other than that, get out there and live, people, because you never know. All that wonderful stuff I said about living in the moment, honestly, there are easier places to do that. You really don't have to come out here and beat yourself up for 2 days to do that. Yep.
Be careful with this.
Just 2 minutes up. You guys got here.
So there's some flatland walking, which hasn't turned out to be flatland at all. GPS makes it look flat, but it's really not flat. But then we're gonna have one heck of a downhill, and hopefully I don't have to put this on night mode to get into the car. So we'll see. Let's do it. I see the end. The end is near. Take some time to actually enjoy some of the scenery, which is really a lot nicer than I'm probably going to give it credit for when this is all over. We were definitely lucky with the weather, and I'll tell you, picking this time of year could go a lot of different ways. And it just looks like we were meant to do this hike.
Good deal.
Down, 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 down. I forgot how much elevation loss on this last hike, but we were at like 3,600 feet. And it's just down. Back to the car. Tough on the knees. There is, on this last little stretch, at least this time of year, a couple of streams and some places to get water, which was much needed. I was pretty much out of water, and it's time to hydrate. And I'd say if you're going to come out here and do this, really plan your water wisely. But we refueled, rehydrated. Now we're feeling pretty good on the home stretch, and probably the next time I check in, unless something really cool happens, like, I don't know, Sasquatch or a leprechaun with a pot of gold shows up, probably this is it until the car, because honestly it's just that now, just downhill out here in the dingweeds. We'll see ya. Do this. 11.6. 1.5. 1.5.
Excellent. Cool.
So, coming down off of Devil's Path, we did it. I don't know, what'd you say, 20 hours? Yeah, so I didn't want to film a bunch of nonsense at the end, but I did want to show you the best site, the by far site you always want to see more than any other site, and that would be the vehicle that is going to get us out of here. Boom. Done. so we're on our way home. We finished it. There was times when I questioned my sanity, but I never truly lost faith. And I'm gonna go back and make sure I edit out all the parts where I truly lost faith. What did you think? What are your thoughts on that thing?
So Devil's Path was definitely not what I expected it to be. Going back 7 years when I wanted to attempt it then. I was coming up a path to Hunter Mountain. Checked the map and I noticed that we were about to cross over Devil's Path, which seemed like a pretty incredible journey. And my impression of it then was that it was just something that would get you up into elevation, maybe between 3,500, and you would just stay there for 24, 25 miles, however long. It's definitely not that. So I hike mountains, or I walk up mountains anyway, and they're always in and outs. They're always up and downs, usually in the Adirondacks. But I thought, you know, going into this, there would be some elevation change, some ups and downs. I'm like, you know, this is something that I've pretty much been prepared for. But this was actually my first backpacking trip. It was only 2 days, but it's amazing how much of a difference packing for 2 days is, as opposed to a day pack that would just go up and down one mountain and then you go back to your car after like 5 hours. So if you're interested in doing this mountain, give yourself some time, prepare for it, do some research. You know, my brother and I have been discussing almost this entire trip that the more popular YouTube videos, and God bless them for doing what they've done, they've definitely helped at least some preparation for this trip, but they don't give you the full story. You don't get to see what's really out there waiting for you, why they rate this as difficult, why it could be the hardest trail in New York or even the Northeast. So this is going to require just a little more than spirit. I would suggest anybody interested in this trail do some physical training first. I'm fortunate that I have a stubbornness that keeps me from stopping, but it also could have put us in a very precarious situation up there, and it's not somewhere you want to be trying to deal with a rescue, as it's a long way from home. But we did it, we made it, and you know, it's amazing. It's a trip 7 years in the making. I'm so happy that my brother's interest in hiking has led us both to the same place, and that we were both able to complete it. So good luck and Godspeed if you try.
My assessment, don't do it. It's a terrible idea. It's just bad.
Unless you're a runner, because then you're just crazy to begin with. So
yeah, we did see a couple runners. Though you know, if you're a runner and you go run this thing, or even chunks of it, God bless you, you're an animal. But for the humans watching this,
yeah,
don't. It's really a bad idea. There's no reason to do this to yourself. But if you do decide to do it, you know, if you're an expert hiker, you're not watching this stupid thing anyways, and you don't care what I say. If you somehow fell across it because you are kind of interested in doing it, if you're in good shape and you put some effort into planning it, you'll probably be all right. Anybody else, just don't do it, or break it up over 3 days, or do a few section hikes, and you can see most of it in just small chunks, taking some side trails and just planning it out. But to do this thing in a day or two is brutal. But you know what? Shout out to Syntax 77. I would highly recommend going and watching his video. You probably have already seen it. I don't know the guy, but I kind of used his video as inspiration. But like my brother said, you can't get the whole picture from this. There's whole chunks that I didn't record because I was too busy crying or dying inside, and
It's just too dangerous to hold something in your hand.
Yeah,
while
you couldn't
trying to scramble.
Yeah, you couldn't hold a camera. I could have strapped it to my chest, but you would have just been staring straight into a rock face while I cried my way up a hill. So anyways, hopefully I'm not too lazy to edit this thing. Hopefully I'll spend some time, edit it real nice, and maybe someone will enjoy this, and maybe it'll even help someone. Hopefully, I wanted this to be a helpful video to anybody wanting to tackle it, but now I'm just hoping I save a life. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign out now.